Some people just stand out in a crowd. Excellent at their craft, excellent in their thinking. And they're not hard to find because they stand out. My name's Joe Crenshaw, and I'm looking for TheStandOuts.
What's up, friends? So I got my man, Jake Jordan here. Jake and I actually connected. Mostly, it really initially was through LinkedIn Local. You guys see his face all over the place because he's been a content creator in that community for a while. But from there, I think we initially shook hands at an actual LinkedIn Local event specifically. Kind of grew a friendship out of that. But I've learned a lot about Jake just from that specifically. And one of the things that I wanted us to just touch on today was, one, you're the co-founder of Real Life Brands, right? So instead of me talking all about that, I'd love you just to say what that is, what you guys do, all about that, how it started. So go for it.
Sure. So I met a guy on LinkedIn, and we kind of lined up on some business things that we were struggling with and wanted to help maybe fix for some other companies. And particularly, social media is an amazing place to get clients and to build a long-term brand because you have access to so many people all the time. And the walls are so low on social media that there's just so much opportunity if you don't act like a creep to, to be authentic and genuine and really try and help people, but have a system. So we do half and full day workshops with businesses and teach their sales, marketing, anybody who wants to learn how to use social media to get clients.
Yeah, and so these workshops, right? Like who would be the specific person or company or whoever, right, that would be the type of person that you guys would work with Real Life Brands to be able to help them and build whatever they're trying to build?
Right. So what kind of marketer would I be if I didn't tell you we had a target market?
Yeah, right.
We love to work with cause-driven businesses and people that love people because there's always a pre-built value system in there and a very specific group of people they like and love, and there's a specific thing typically that they're already trying to solve. So that makes it really easy for us to come in and just equip and not really have to teach all the marketing stuff. But there's lots of businesses that have that already that are good candidates too.
Yeah, and one thing you said just a second ago, which even in our offline conversations, you say all the time, and I know this is part of like what you're about, is cause-driven, right? That's a specific passion. And so where does that stem from? What does that mean to you, right? Exactly. Like what is a cause-driven organization?
Right. So, I mean, my faith system is largely where it stems from because I believe that we're all uniquely made. And so if you can help others, that's one of the best things you can do here. And so specifically, it's selfishly, there's really great stories around causes. And it's so fun to be involved when you get to see things unfold in a way that really help everyone involved, the people serving and the people being served. It's just a fantastic thing to be a part of. And so I think that's a skill set that gets overlooked a lot in nonprofits and for-profits that have a cause. All those seem to be left behind for some reason because people seem more concerned with money a lot of times and go to the corporate gigs maybe.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I know, these are kind of interconnected, but again, in some of the conversations Jake and I have regularly, like there's this whole message, and it's just had a lot of impact on me specifically, and has built this whole framework and mindset for like a lot of the things that I would like to be about as well. But I think some of where this was born was actually with Real Life Brands. It's the whole mindset of impact over attention, right? And so cause-driven, having the most impact, those are things that you value significantly. So just speak a little bit to the whole impact over attention brand and that mindset, right, more than anything of like what you're trying to do with that.
Well, it was really nice for me because, it did line up with my value system that I want to be impactful while I'm here, not just famous or any of those other things, but also given where we are in digital and marketing and things like that, there's so much competition for people's attention that you actually do better when you don't get in line and try and shout and wave your arms. You actually do better by just going out and finding a few amount of people to have a lot of impact on, and they become brand advocates. And there's ways to do that so that you actually stand out from the noise by doing less, by aiming further in. So that's where those things kind of just crossed paths for me, and it was like, that's an opportunity.
That's great, and I specifically like the way that you framed that. You stand out from all the noise, right? It's easy to jump in just because it's noisy, and I think, well, I just need to be a part of whatever that is also. But when you kind of push back against from some of that, and you see the value and the impact that you can have on the other side of that, that's what actually gives you the opportunity to stand out. And I know with you and I, one of the things we worked on was deeper dive, right? It's kind of built around some of that. So within a particular community, like rather than accumulating a list of all of these different connections and a huge amount of attention, how can I have impact with one individual, which is what you said just a second ago. Like with that, like give kind of a quick testimony of just some things that you've been able to experience it within that, right?
Well, the quality of person that you tend to connect with when you're actually concerned with who they are and what they're about tends to lead to other great connections. I think you kind of attract the type of people you seek out. And so that's just like one guy over in the UK is a disabled guy who runs marathons and does some really crazy stuff. And I was looking for somebody who had a cool story, and he reached out and we chatted, and lo and behold, I mean, the story that came out of that was just so touching and so much more impactful about what he's doing versus what you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
And so it's when you go deeper, the relationships last longer, and you just tend to get in circles of people that are also trying to be impactful.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about it is that with that, like, it's not just better from, you know, an ethics standpoint or just being more caring about the other person. It's actually more productive from a professional standpoint, and it creates and engages more opportunity. So I love that. So last thing for us, I'd like to just make sure that this community knows about how can we help Jake Jordan? Like if we were to center around you, things that you consider opportunities, what your mission is, like, let's speak to that.
So I would say that if you know somebody who is serving a great cause somewhere, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit, it doesn't matter, and they need some help, we love doing workshops for those types of people. So if you're one of those people, great. If you know somebody who's got a great cause, we're just looking to book workshops and help people do better online.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Well, I know there's so much impact in these, even just in our friendship. I've noticed the impact of his whole approach just towards relationships. And so how that applies in the business world and being able to have the most impact there is awesome. So I know you guys could receive so much value for that. But dude, thanks for coming. Yeah. So glad to interview you. Yeah. Looking forward to connecting more beyond this, but appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.